Hi everyone, it's Glenn here again. Just got a little bit ahead of myself just now, so I thought I'd better record what I'm doing here because it's a pretty big difference. But you've already seen I've done the bearings. These are the old bearings, they're pretty not too good. So I've already undone the 4 screws at the end of this spokey. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull it apart. And you can see your gearing inside of here. So for me to change these bearings, I had to pull this gear out, pull this pin out behind the gear. It comes out like that, and then you pull that off. And that's the new bearing I've just put on it. So now I'll fit the bearing back on there again. I'll sit that back in there. What I'll do, you put the pin back in. If you want to clean all inside of here, you can. I've already given this main bit of wipeout, so I can give this other bit of a wipeout too while I'm going. Actually, just give it a quick little hit, get rid of all the crap out of it. Won't hurt it. So got to put new oil in there anyway. So put that back in there, the pin. Then at the back you've got that little bar that's where the bar's going to sit. That just there. So you line her up and pushes on. Done. But in saying that, where's that engine mount? Jeez, I'm so unorganized. It's probably under something. Yep, okay. Not sure where I put that engine mount. There it is there. Okay. So I have to try to get this here to fit in here. So I may have to pull that apart again, like so, because that shaft has to, or the bearing has to sit inside there as well. So I may have to build this already on this here already. So I take that off, I'll sit the bearing just inside of here, like so. And that just seems a little big for it. Okay. So what I might do with that, I might even just sand this down just a little bit, because it's just a little too big of a shoulder. But in that case, we'll get one to fit. Alright, we'll get one to fit. So the plan, put that back on there. Put that pin back in, and we will sit that into the pin. Get rid of that bit of fabric. Now inside of here, there are your gears, as you can see. So I'm just popping them out. I'm not going to try to mix them up too much. And inside here, you've got the same, if you can see this, you've got the same gearing. So you pop that out. Now this one here's got the trick to it. So on the side of this housing, you have a grub screw. So you undo this grub screw here, and as you can see inside there, that's where the pin is. If you can see that, hopefully the camera is zooming into it. So that's where the grub screw is. Oh, not grub screw, sorry, that's where the pin is. So with a pair of pliers, you get the pin, and where the grub screw was, will allow you to push this pin out through the hole, because the pin's a little too long. So if you line it up, as you can see here, that's the pin. You pop the pin out, and you can take this out, just like that. Now that bearing's a new bearing as well. I've already seen if it fits in here fine, and this here fits through there fine as well. So what I may have to do with this here, maybe sand it out just a little wider, and I'm not worried about the bearing too much, but maybe just this section here, we'll sort that out, or might even just sand this whole section down, just down enough where it's going to fit through the hole. It's just a little, oh no, there we go. Oh, now it wants to fit. Well, there you go, hey? That just proved me bloody wrong, didn't it? Alrighty, so now we know that bearing fits. So I'll pop the bearing off and sit the bearing back onto the back of these. These are new bearings that I've just put on. So now we get this part here, push it back through. Now with the hole, make sure you line it up where that hole is for the grub screw. So you need to line them two up so you can put this bit of pin back through the center to hold it into place. So it's easy, but it's not easy, if that makes sense. Sometimes it'll go straight in, other times it wants to fight you. Like now it's fighting, but now it's just gone in. Just like that. You sort of get it as close as possible to center. Get this gear, and the same thing, you've got that little long part at the back that's hollow. Just drop that straight in roughly where that's going to be. And that will keep that pin into place. And that's all back in again now. So all we have to do now, the grub screw, so then you don't leak all your oil. Put the grub screw back in, like so. You get your oil that you want to run. Might probably go, might end up going probably a 7,000, I'm thinking. I think 20,000 would be way too thick. So I might do a 7,000. Like I said, I'm no expert by all means. I've got 20,000 there, which I don't know if I would use that. I'm just going roughly by what was in there, and it wasn't that thick. So I'm just gonna put what I think back in there. Look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't take much to pull this apart and redo it again. You know, like it's not that hard at all. So as you can see, that gearing in there now, I've put it in there, but make sure that splits up, because this one here has the same split in it, and that goes down onto it to interlock. So you put that in there like this, and now that's interlocked. So that works just like that. So now I'll get the gear oil, load her up. There wasn't much in here before, so I think whatever I'm putting in here is going to be better than nothing. It was pretty filthy what was in here before. So what I'll do, I just slowly move it, work it around. What I'm doing, the only reason I'm doing that is it'll get it all underneath the gearing. It'll like spread around, so I won't be all clumped on top. So I'm just pushing it down a little bit, turning it a bit, pushing it down, make sure everything turns. Like so. Bit of a tap, get the air bubbles out. Looks about right. Looks like it's gotten down to the bottom now. So I'll put a little bit more in there just to top it up a little bit. There you go. So at the end of the day, that's all lined up, all full. So I might take a little bit out, it might be a little bit too much in here. So I'll just suck a little bit out. So I don't think you're supposed to have a full, but like I said, I'm not 100%, I'm still learning myself, and like I said in the comments, if you know, let me know. By all means, I'm happy for you to let me know if I'm filled up too much, or geez, I didn't even fill it up enough. So I'll be happy to know that. So now, that's in there, that's your gearing. I sit that back on top, you line up the holes, roughly there and there. Line up, right there, I know what's wrong here. The gasket to hold it in, the oil in, has moved. So that's where you got to be careful of as well. Try not to stuff the gasket that's real thin around the outside of there. It's right on the inside where the screws go. So sit that on top. Figure out where the holes are. Looks about right. You know what we forgot to put in? Yep, I forgot the bearing. So now, got to pop this back off again. Take this off. Push it through with that. I forgot to put the bearing on. Stupid me. One of the simplest things. There. You always forget something, and that's always the most important part. So there, we put that back on. Too busy talking. Put this on now. All that's good. There's the housing there. Make sure the holes are going to line up, which they are, like that. So now we put the screws back in. So what I'm going to do, turn my drill to 1, so I'm not going to strip any screws. I'm not going to strip them out when they go in. When it gets to a certain tightness, that's it. It won't make it go any tighter. So, come on, buddy. So that's one. Come on, let's sit in there. I'll try to get this in there straight, because this just doesn't seem to be sitting just right at the moment. And that's why, because that's come off there. So that will fit into there perfectly. So what we're going to do is play around with this thing as we do, because even I think the gasket's moved on me again by the looks of that. So we'll line up this and this, and we'll line up these holes right that. There we go. So now this should go in. Start screwing it up a little bit. With this drill. This one in. Still sitting flush, that's good. And what I normally do, I'd normally go the opposite side. I don't tighten them all up first off. I just do it very lightly, to the point where if I have to, I can do those slight movements just to get the other two in. No point doing it as tight as possible, because otherwise, yeah, if they're slightly out, you're going to end up stuffing your thread, or it'll end up going in cross-threading and stuffing up everything. So this is how I do it, like this here. Oh, you bugger. So this one here, last one, and then we just tighten them up. Straight down. 1, 2. See, my drill just won't go very tight, and then I've probably got a good half a turn on this here. 1. Just go around, tighten them by hand, just to make sure they're tight, because some of them are pretty loose still. That's it. And that's the new fluid all put back together. Now all I have to do is just give it a wipe down, give it a good clean. Yeah, and now I've got fluid finally in my diff. It's not as thick, but I think it'll be more than enough for what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put it through the, I'm not going to put it, like I am going to put it through its paces, but I'm not going to do it to the point where I'm going to blow this to pieces. And honestly, what I've just done now was better than what was in it before. There had nothing in it before, so So that's all for today. Done this here. So now hopefully there we go, fit into there. So this will hopefully be the plan. Like, wrong way, my bad, wrong way. So this side here's a bit of the pain in the butt. I may have to swap these two ends. That might help me a fair bit. So, but I'll do that off camera. You've already seen how I built it. So what I'm gonna end up doing is swapping this end with this end. This end here goes through here fine. This end here just seems a little big, like it just does not want to go. But this end here will fit through there without an issue. So I might end up swapping ends. I might swap this end with this end and see if I can get away with it. I'm not sure if that's a bit longer than this one here, but I'll see when I pull it apart and I'll soon let you know. So thanks again for watching. Hope you've learned something. Yeah, subscribe, hit the bell button, stay notified, and I'll see you next video. Okay, bye.